everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Heidi from My Reading Life, and I'm here today to film my TBR check-in and book haul for the month of January. So, January ended up being a very good reading month. I read 14 books total, which is not at all where I expected to end up. But I read 14 books total, and let's see, I got my handy-dandy notebook here, so we shall refer to that. I read a total of 14 books. 8 of them were off my physical TBR shelves, and so that left 6 that I read electronically, either from, they were on my Kindle, or I read them from the library or from Scribd. And then, so 8 of the 14 were off my shelves, as I've said. I brought in 9, I unhauled 1, so that math works out to 0, right? There was nothing, no change in my TBR balance. So 120 is where we're sitting. That's where we started January 1. That's where we're ending January 31. And I'm not sad about it because, like I said, I brought in 9 books. But before we talk about the new books that I brought in, I wanted to give you an update on the ancient TBR, which, if you remember, are these books. These 3 here and these books here. These books over here are the Book Naturalist books for this year. So the ancient TBR that I've been working on, of those, 4 came off those shelves in the month of January. This one, this romance novel, A Lady Never Surrenders by Sabrina Jeffries, I tried to read and didn't finish it. I only read a few pages. I probably read like 20 pages, 25 pages. And it's the 4th in a series. I haven't read the other books. It wasn't that interesting to me, so I just decided to let it go. That's going out of my house. What I did read off the TBR shelf was The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry by Rachel Joyce, which I did talk about in my latest recent reads video. And then 2 more that I haven't yet talked about, but I will be talking about in an upcoming recent reads. I read The Good Earth by Pearl Buck, and I read The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. So yeah, 4 books off the ancient TBR. So that feels really good to be continuing to work on those older books that I've had hanging around here for a long time. So feeling really positive about that. So what did I bring in? As I said, I brought in 9 books. Now, I had received some gift cards for Christmas that I spent in January, I think I didn't spend them in December. I actually spent them in January. And then I also I purchased some books for the purpose of the Book Naturalist Book Club. So let's go through what I picked up here. I'll try to have some semblance of order. The first book I picked up is this one, Undrowned, Black Feminist Lessons from Marine Mammals by Alexis, Pauline, Gumbs. This is the Book Naturalist pick for February this month because it coincides with Black History Month. So it's a slim little piece of nonfiction. We'll be reading that in February. I then also grabbed Why Fish Don't Exist, A Story of Lost Love and the Hidden Order of Life by Lulu Miller. I think this is a Book Naturalist pick, I think, for March. Don't quote me on it though, I'm not remembering for sure. And this is sort of like a combination memoir and discussion of David Starr Jordan, who was a taxonomist. So I've heard mixed things about this, but I am really excited to finally get a chance to read it and find out for myself whether I like it or not. And I really think this cover is lovely with this gold foiling for the fish. I grabbed this collection of essays, Upstream by Mary Oliver. Another pretty small book. We'll be reading this sometime later in the year. And I have read 1 book of Mary Oliver's poetry, and I'm interested in reading more by her. I definitely want to read more of her poetry, but I'm also interested to read her essays, which I've heard nothing but good things about. I think that's it for Book Naturalists. I then also grabbed a book for Cribathon, which won't be until June, but Karen over at Run Right Reads read this last year, I believe, Small Island by Andrea Levy, and really enjoyed it. I've heard other people talk about this book and really like it. I don't love this movie tie-in cover. I guess this was produced on Masterpiece Theater or something. Or it's on PBS. And this book also won the Orange Prize. Andrea Levy was born in England to Jamaican parents. So, and I am not even really sure what this book is about, except that I've heard lots of people that I respect on BookTube talk about it and like it, and I want to read more Caribbean literature, so I picked that one up. I grabbed a copy of A Gentleman in Moscow by Amor Towles. I've never read any Amor Towles, is that correct? Yeah, I believe that's correct. And this book I've heard lots of people talk about, and I talked about it last year when I did my bucket list book tag video, and this was one of the 10 books that was on that bucket list. And I've just decided that, you know, life is too short to go messing around and waiting on reading books that you want to read. So I decided to pick up a copy of A Gentleman in Moscow. This is a story, if I remember correctly, of a man in Russia who, after the revolution, is arrested and confined to a hotel for the rest of his life. You know, he can either live in this hotel or he can be either killed or exiled. I can't remember which. And so it's all about the life that he builds for himself living confined in this hotel. So, and I've heard nothing but good things about it. So I'm very interested to read that. I then grabbed 2 nonfiction books that were on the list of potential books for the BookTube prize. And in fact, they did make the long list, although they are not in my particular group for this first round of judging, but I still am very interested in them and want to read them. The first one is Beloved Beasts, Fighting for Life in an Age of Extinction by Michelle. I have no idea how to say this name, and I didn't remember to look it up. Nijhuis? I'm not for sure. I'll have to look that up before I read it and talk about it, but this cover is so cool. And it's basically, each chapter is a discussion of a different animal and its fight to continue to exist. And this tells the story basically of the fight to protect animals who are on the verge of extinction. So yeah, super up my alley, that one is. And then this book, also on animals by Susan Orlean. I read Susan Orlean's book, The Orchid Thief, and I really, really loved that book. And this is a collection of pieces that she wrote about animals. So just, I think she has been a writer for The New Yorker, and I don't know if all of these were originally published in The New Yorker, but all of these were written like throughout her lifetime, these different essays, and they're each about a different animal or about some different interaction she had with animals. And I just really enjoy Susan Orlean's writing style, so I am thrilled to have this one. Look at the end papers in this book. So fun. Yeah, really excited to get to this one eventually. And then last but not least, I picked up Zero Fail, The Rise and Fall of the Secret Service by Carol Leoning. And this is for an upcoming buddy read that I'm going to be having with Patrice Jones. And we have read some other stuff in the past about the Secret Service, and particularly the book by Clint Hill. I can't remember the name of that one, but that was really interesting. It was basically his memoir of his time spent as a Secret Service agent. And we just were interested in learning more about this agency that was not created until quite a ways into the formation of the United States as a country, and now is such a high profile part of the government. So that's it. That's my check-in, and the books that my check-in on my TBR, and then the books that I brought in for the month of January. I hope that you brought in some fun books in the month of January as well, as long as you're not on a no-buy year. I obviously am not on a no-buy year, clearly, but I am excited that I've maintained my TBR at least, even if I didn't reduce it. So that's good. I didn't go up, which is always nice. Anyway, I hope you're all doing well and finding some great books to read, and I will talk to you later.